covering some of the docks right there by the coastline there. And this is on the 16th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina making landfall and devastating this part and many other parts of Gulfport. In fact, in Bay St. Louis reports of a 5-foot water rise already. And look at Shell Beach in Louisiana, a 5.9-foot storm surge. And you're not going to see the eyes, but that's the power of the wind field of Hurricane Ida. A 150-mile-per-hour Category 4 hurricane is pushing that water up and over land at this time. Again, Bay St. Louis, 5.3-foot water rise. 933 is the pressure in the center of Hurricane Ida, making that a 150-mile-per-hour Category 4 hurricane. It's about 60 miles off the mouth of Mississippi. And by the way, this time yesterday, our pressure, even here in New Orleans, was 1,015. We're not going to see that eye, but we'll get within, say, 30, 40 miles of that center. But the hurricane force winds extend out more than 50 miles from the center. So the winds we've been dealing with, which have been in the tropical storm force wind gusts for the last 5 hours or so. Last hour, or this current hour, I should say, gusts over 50 miles per hour at the airport in New Orleans, which is basically shut down. There are 0 flights coming in or out of MSY. Masonic Stockyards is what that stands for, the airport, international airport here in New Orleans. No flights today, and most likely, probably a handful of flights might make it tomorrow. So for people who are back in town visiting and touristing, and I tell you what, the economy, well, they really depend on tourist dollars here in the city. So the people who are stuck here, they cannot fly out, perhaps maybe not until the middle of this week. But we're just getting into it. You see, as we head throughout the day, we're going to see a lot more winds increase, get to that hurricane force, stay there for a while, and really not wind down until sometime tomorrow. Power outages, already 60,000 customers across southeast Louisiana without power, but those are billing points. So in terms of people, easily 2.5 or maybe a 3-time multiplier. So we're talking probably close to 200,000 individuals without power right now. So if you still have power, if you have not evacuated, you're still hearing this, you want to charge up everything you can and even lower your air conditioning, because when it does go out, it might be days, if not weeks, before it comes through. And also, by the way, if you're trying to check on relatives here, text them, because calling them drains more battery out of their phones. If they've lost power, they want to keep that phone alive as long as they can in case they need to call for help. Flooding is going to happen here in New Orleans, not so much from storm surge, but just the physical rain coming down here. We are below sea level. The pumps can handle a ½ inch an hour. We're going to see hours upon hours of rain, maybe exceeding 1 inch or 2 per hour. So big concern still to go through here in New Orleans and much of other southeast Louisiana dealing with this as well. Let's go back to the studio now with Dr. Rick Bostel tracking this. And Dr. Bostel, the weather along the coast is pretty intense right now. They still have quite a ways to go. I guess the only bright news is that the forward speed is still in that 15-mile-per-hour range. So we're going to see this come on and not slow down for a while, which is a good news in terms of the duration of weather impacts with this system.
That's a really good point, Paul. Thank you very much. And I think you're right. I think landfall is probably going to be within an hour with a steady movement toward the northwest at roughly 15 miles per hour. Here's some of the observations. There, by the way, is the center of circulation, and there's the primary eye wall, the original one, which is where the worst winds are, we think, likely well over 100 miles per hour, certainly in gusts. And then we can look at Grand Isle right now, 58 miles per hour, gusting to 77. Let's have a look at what the conditions are like in Grand Isle. There we are, and they're only going to get worse, and a lot worse when that eye wall comes in, which should be within the next 45 minutes or so. But you can see the